Hi, welcome back to Anne's House of Six. I'm Anne and happy to have you with me again on this lovely day. For a change, we finally have some warm weather for one day anyway. And they're saying there's a cold spell coming in with some thunderstorms, so we get one day. That's what it's like here in Ontario. You get one day good and then back to some cold. Anyway, I'm doing a series. I have one video out last week about what my husband and I actually did to save money um, to raise our kids. We raised our kids on one income. If you've been following along at all, I stopped working altogether. Sorry, my camera's kind of tilting here. I stopped working altogether after our third child and stayed home full time. So we raised them on just my husband's income. So I wanted to talk today about credit cards. Credit cards, you kind of need them, but you wish you didn't. When we got married, we agreed to have one credit card each, and we agreed that we would keep it for emergencies. So most of the time, we tried to pay for things in cash, unless it was some huge item we had to get. We would pay in cash, keep the cards for emergencies. And the other thing, too, and we did with all our bills, is that once that bill came in, it was paid right away and it was paid in full. So we never put anything on our credit cards that we knew we couldn't pay when that bill came in. I've been watching this young woman on YouTube. Um, I don't know whether to mention her channel or not. I think I'll leave it out for now. Uh, she has been really honest about things going on in her life, and she's married and she has two boys. I think the oldest one might be about 10. And she's been living with her mother-in-law for 10 years. She has two part-time jobs right now, and I think the jobs have kind of been off and on. Her husband hasn't been able to keep a job. So right now he just got a job again. He seems to keep it for like 3-4 days and then he leaves the job. So he now has a job again. So it's like watching, I'm sorry, but it's like watching a train wreck. I can't help watching it. It makes me mad, but I can't help watching her. And I admire her for being so truthful about everything. Even when she gets criticism, she's still very truthful about it. So I admire that. But she said this morning in her video that if her husband can keep this job, then she can stop helping to pay down his debt and she can put money into savings and then maybe start paying down her debt after she puts money into savings. And she said she's going to put money into savings for an emergency. And I had to comment that her emergency is her debt. I went and looked up the credit card we have, and the interest is 20.75%. And I know some cards are actually higher than that. 20.75%. The best thing you can do is pay that credit card off as soon as possible. Then start putting money into your savings or investments. So that's what we did. We had one card and paid it off as soon as it came in. If we had anything on it, it was to be paid off. The one thing I would say, I'm just going to mention here too, sometimes that the stores, if you apply for their credit card, they have some sort of bonus. Maybe you'll get so much money off the purchase you're making right at that time. So we've done that where I remember we were going to paint our living room, dining room area, and we went to buy paint, and the store was offering so much money off the purchase of the paint if we applied for their credit card. So we did that. But when that credit card got mailed to us, we cut up the credit card. We didn't use it. So we got the deal, got rid of the credit card. So you can do that. That happens. I was just out shopping with my sister in law the other day, and we were at Walmart, and they were offering Walmart's credit card. So you could get $20 off your purchase at that moment. So that's a good thing to do. But don't use the credit card when it comes to afterward, though, unless it's the only credit card you have and it's worth keeping. So once you pay down, if you do have credit card debt, pay it off as soon as possible because you are paying a high interest. And then once it's paid off, then start to direct your savings towards, or direct your money towards your savings or any investments you might want to make. Also, if you pay that credit card off, it kind of cuts the cycle of always, some people get into a cycle of always paying the minimum no matter what. They just keep paying the minimum. So if you pay off that credit card debt as soon as possible right away, then it kind of stops that cycle of always paying the minimum. And hopefully then, put things on your credit card that you really need to buy, not something that's a frivolous sort of thing to do. It's really best to use cash if you can, because the cash, you can see it, it's in your hand, you can see it disappearing if you're spending too much. With a credit card, it's almost like fairy dust. You don't know where it's going, how much is going, nothing. The other item I wanted to talk about, which is something we did early on when the kids were little, was canceling our cable. We found that we had cable and internet. Internet was dial-up at that time, and our phone, that was all with the same company. And I remember it being over $200 a month. So we got rid of the cable. And at the time we got rid of it, I had a family member tell me that it was going to be embarrassing for our children who were in school, that the kids would make fun of them because they didn't have cable. Anyway, we canceled our cable and the kids didn't make fun of them. It's important to really try to listen to what you need to do. And I know people are always going to tell you all kinds of different things. We've had that happen throughout, my husband's and my time together. And you really have to figure out your finances and what's going to work for you. So we canceled our cable, and my kids were not embarrassed, and it all worked out fine. And we saved money. We saved a lot of money, actually. We still don't have cable to this day. We have an antenna on our roof, so we get a few channels. We do have internet, and we have upgraded our internet because it's used a lot in our household. I use the internet a lot because I have an Etsy store. Now I'm on YouTube, so it gets used a lot. My son has his own business, so he's doing a lot through the internet as well. So we made sure our internet is a good internet. It's top, I don't want to say top notch, but it works well, and it's good, if that makes any sense. And also, I think trying to cancel your subscriptions if you have a lot of them, and that's, a lot of the streaming services, I think, we have Prime and we had Netflix. I canceled Netflix. It was just the price was getting way too high. And Prime, then they have you paying for each little type of channel you want to watch. So sometimes if there's something I want to watch, I'll join up to that channel on Prime, but then cancel it after. You usually get maybe 30 days free, so I'll cancel it before the 30 days are up. And then I just went through those channels on Prime recently and got rid of a couple of them because we weren't using them. So there was no point in keeping them, and it just adds up on your bill. The other thing, I kind of made a list here on my computer just to go through a few things with you. Those monthly fees can really add up. So even a $15 subscription fee, that adds up to $180 a year. And if you have, say, 3 or 4 of those, that adds up to quite a bit of money per year. Also, the fewer transactions you have, so let's say the fewer subscriptions you have, it helps to track your spending and helps to stick to a budget. If you think about magazine subscriptions, which I don't think many people do magazine subscriptions anymore, but if you have them, that adds up to quite a bit, and you can usually go online and you can usually go online. I have a couple that I go online. I have Chatelaine and now I can't remember the other one. It's another Canadian magazine. Canadian Living, that's what it is. And you can go online and look through articles they have without spending any money. You can also go to the library if you like certain magazines, and they're usually in the library. You can look through them. You can even borrow them and take them home. The other thing too, don't forget about when you have less of this stuff, less subscriptions, less payments per month. It also helps to decrease your mental load too. If you're carrying all these things, and sometimes you're not even aware of some of the subscriptions you have, it puts a mental load on you when you keep getting bills all the time that you really don't need to have. I mean, really sit down and think about the ones you really, really need to have. And it's okay to have, maybe you want one streaming service because you enjoy sitting down in the evening and watching a movie. It's okay, but make sure you have one. You don't need 5 of them. Also, I wrote down too that, sifting through apps and services that you don't really need takes up a lot of your time. So if you don't have all these services on your TV, let's say, maybe go out for a walk, go to the library, go visit some friends instead. I find I've gotten a lot more into my knitting, and sometimes I watch TV while I'm knitting. I'm pretty well knitting every night, but sometimes I just turn on some music and just have the music in the background while I'm knitting, and it's nice for a change. And reviewing and canceling your subscriptions, it keeps you more mindful of the choices you're making with your money. That money you're saving too, you can eventually, if you've got your credit card paid down, you cancel some subscriptions, then you can really start putting it towards a savings or a fund that you want to save. May say you want to save for a vacation, put it towards that. And I have a website, houseof6.ca, which is to do with with saving money as well. And you'll find there's 3 freebies on there right now, and I've just made another one, and I'm going to add this to a freebie page. And this is for your subscriptions. So it's a subscription audit. I can't talk today, so sorry about that. Subscription audit. And it gives you a chance, you can just list some of the subscriptions you have. So you can keep them in mind and see what you're actually paying per month and what can you get rid of? What can you do without? So I'm going to put that up on my website, and under the description of the video, I'll link to my website, and I'm going to put an actual freebie page on the website. I have my other freebies within my blogs, but I think what I'll do is do an actual freebie page, and then you can easily click on that and pick up a few of those. So that's another one I'll have available for you. So that's it. So those are a couple things for this week about what my husband and I actually did to save money while we were raising our kids and taking care of a household and all of that fun stuff. So think about your credit cards. Think about how much you're paying on them, how much you're putting on them, and how much you're paying per month if you don't pay them off right away. And think about your subscriptions. Go through them and what subscriptions can you do without? How can you pare them down? And how can you save money by canceling some of those subscriptions? Again, I cannot talk today. I'm so sorry. I thought I might start a little thing too at the end of every video, just a little quiz question. And you can put your answer in the comments below, just for a bit of fun. So the question this week, what should you do with a windfall? So let's say a tax return, maybe you get a bonus from work, maybe you get a gift of cash. What would you do with that cash, that extra cash? A, would you spend it on something fun? B, would you put it toward debt or savings? C, share it on social media? Or D, treat yourself to a vacation? So let me know what the answer to that question would be in the comments below. And I hope you'll subscribe to my channel. We've had a few new subscribers, which I really, really appreciate. I'd love to keep growing this channel. I'm really enjoying being here, and I hope the information I'm offering can help you in some way. So please subscribe, comment below, and we'll see you next week. Bye.